Hello! We're going to be looking at cherry blossoms today. So cherry blossoms, for this project, I'm going to show you how to use the markers again as watercolor. Or if you do have watercolors, you can go ahead and get watercolors. You can actually use both, depending on what you have. I recommend this with the Cherry Blossom Tour. So you can go on a virtual tour of DC's cherry blossoms and see what these look like in real life. Then we're going to create a picture off of that. So I'm just going to twist this down so you can see. Alright, so there's our cherry blossoms. Kind of my half-done one. I didn't finish these. I finished these up here earlier and see how it bled out. And these ones I just did a little bit ago, so they're not quite done yet. But we want that water to melt our markers and spread it out. So with the cherry blossom, you're going to be doing, basically I take usually a brown marker. If you're going to paint it in, you can also use a brown crayon so it doesn't bleed anywhere. That's up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and use my marker. And with my marker, I just want to draw my branch. In branches, think it goes from wider to narrower, and think Y's and W's and things, because they can branch off. So there is like a V or a Y, depending on how much. If you want a W and you want another one to come off, you could do that. See how I'm bringing that together? So branching off. So there's my Y. I put a V here, and it goes off. If I want to do a 3-1, almost like a W, and it can come off. And they're going to go narrower as you draw, so you want to make sure they get narrow. And they don't have to be perfect. Cherry blossoms, they're all kind of gnarly, and the branches and everything, so you don't have to be too perfect with your branches. You really don't. And I'll go ahead and put a little bit of coloring in there, because we can melt that too, or if you're coloring in with crayon, you can color it the whole way in. Either way, so there's kind of my branch. Now, for my cherry blossoms, they're kind of a heart shape. So I like starting kind of with my buds up at the top, and think about kind of like a little heart shape for the buds. So the tips for mine are, I'm going to put my little buds out there, and I can put them way out here where there's nothing at too, because my buds can be out kind of pretty far. And my flowers is the same thing. I'm not going to put them like one here, one here. I'm just going to kind of group them up. So I might put that type of shape. So see how it's kind of like a heart, or like you can also do a heart too if you want to do kind of like a heart. Either way. So this one is ovaled. This one's kind of a heart. Either way, that's kind of the shape. And there's usually about 4 leaves on there. You could put 5 too if you want to do that as well. So 4 or 5 petals. So, and when they don't have very many leaves out, you can always put a couple leaves in the green if you wanted, but there's usually not too many leaves when the cherry blossoms come out. It's pretty much just the flowers that's out. So I'm going to go a little quicker. See how I'm drawing that in? I'm just getting in there and doing all those little leaves and flowers. If I want a leaf, I can do my green, and I can do the same thing. I can put just a little leaf in. They're not much right now, not very many. They might only have like a little tiny ones coming out. So that just adds like a little sparkle of green. There's really not much there. So I keep going out my bigger ones because this is closer to me, so the viewer. So these flowers are going to be bigger than these flowers, and this is going away from me, so those are going to be a little bit smaller. So that's a little bit of that perspective. That's what makes it look interesting, because I'm standing at, if I'm under the tree, these are closer to me versus the ones going higher up the tree. So that's why I'm making these just a little bit smaller than what you would have up here. If you made them all the same size, they would look a little bit off. See how I'm getting those? See how I'm getting those smaller? So now you can see that. So if you're looking from my perspective, it looks like that. See how that looks closer and further away. So now, if I wanted to, I could put just some marks in there, because we want some of this to melt. So where I want my darker to melt at, I'm going to just put some drawings in there. Just little scribbles. It doesn't have to be anything specific. And I'm using the brighter pink so you can see this. You could use a more pastel pink too if you wanted a little more pastel. There we go. And there's also a black dot in the middle of this. So you can put in a black or, oh, there's my black on the ground. All right, there we are. You could put a black dot here because what's going to happen is that's going to spread out as well when you put the water in. So I go back usually at the very end and add the little black dot on my open ones. Now comes my water. So with my water, I'm just going to take it actually just like we did this a couple other times on other things. I think it was Van Gogh we did this with. I just put my water right on, and see how the black's going to spread out with the pink. And this is where if you wanted some watercolor, I might put in, I'm just getting some pink watercolor, make it a little bit darker, and I can go in and dab, and that would make that just a little bit darker. I'm not even going to really paint it, I'm just going to dab a little bit of darkness around. So if you do have some watercolor, you can add that in too. And all I'm going to do is go through, even on my, unless you did this crayon, you don't have to worry about that, but I wanted mine to melt a little bit. So I went ahead and did my branches in marker. I'm going to kind of run wherever I want them to. So there you go. And that's how we do your cherry blossom. And I'm going to put a link to a pretty cool tour from a tour company that's in DC that did a virtual tour for the cherry blossoms. So you can go around and look at them because, well, it's a rainy day today. You might have cherry blossoms or trees. It's blooming. It might not be actual cherry blossom tree. It might just be a regular dogwood or one of the other ones. So you see these sometimes in white, darker purple. You'll even see some yellows and other colors of trees. So it doesn't always have to be like a cherry blossom. If you want to try this in a different color, you could try it in a different color as well to match maybe a tree that's right in your yard. But right there is my cherry blossoms.